Okay. My mom gave me the name Peace. Yeah, the Peace was the name which I was given by my mom. But it's in our local language, so it's Ntendele, which means peace. And then when I went to school, I was given the name Ian. Still, it was my mom who gave me the same name, Ian. So at school, I registered as Ian. But at home, my sister and my friends used to call me Ishan. So that's what a lot of people call me. A lot of people call me Ishan. Yeah. But in the art world, I identify as Peace. My mom was a religious person. Yeah, that's what I remember about her. And then the name Peace came from one of the churches because it was where I was baptized. Yeah, I was baptized as a Christian. So the name Peace I was given from that parish, the church. So growing up, a lot of people used to ask me, "Hey, why is your name Peace? Your name doesn't sound like local." Like I used to get a lot of backlashes from the guys, the boys when I was growing up. Like they would say, your name doesn't sound like you're from around, like you're local. Yeah, cause it's in our language, of course, but then it was like translated. The original was in the English version. Yeah. So my name was a little bit of a controversy for the guys, but then most of them, they got along with the name Ishan. Yeah. So they just call me Ishan. Yeah. So most of the people, they know me with Ishan. Yeah. I don't know for them it's cool or it's easy. Yeah. Okay. I did not grow up in one place. I grew up moving around, all around. So mostly my birth mom, my original mom, she was an artistic person and she was an intellectual because she was a lecturer at the university. So I remember, because I was young when she passed on. Yeah. So I remember we used to have a lot of artworks in the house. So that was like my first inspiration to artworks, because there was these artworks of guys cutting trees and then lions chasing them. Yeah, so I was young, and then I used to ask, like, how did this come about? And they should tell me, like, nah, these were made by people. When I was watching cartoons, and then I'll ask, like, what about these cartoons? And they should tell me, nah, these cartoons are not real. It's people drawing them and then doing them. So from the start, from around when as long as I can remember me asking questions, I was already fascinated with art. And then when my mom passed on, I had to grow up with my aunties and uncles. So my uncles and aunties, most especially my uncles at that time, they were more like rastas, I would say. So they were more into music. Yeah, so they used to listen out to Bob Marley, and then all those reggae icons like Bob Marley, Peter Tosh. Yeah, you can name them all. So I grew up with the reggae world. Like, they used to listen to music from morning to evening. Yeah. My aunt even says when I was young, like, I would cry a lot, and then when they give me a radio or something which is making music, I would stop crying. So that was like the background of me having to start to love music, also the music side. Because also at an early stage, I was taken to church, and then I started playing piano. That was also another thing. So like, music and art was introduced to me at a very young age. But the people around me, they did not want to support that spirit of art, of me trying to become a musician or me trying to become an artist. Nah, for them it was just something which is out there, we just enjoy it and then we leave it there. Yeah. It wasn't like, yeah, you can do it and then you can be like one of them. No, it wasn't something like that. I remember being asked the question, what I want to be when I grow up. Then I answered, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't really know what I wanted to be, because I was just introduced to a lot of things at a very young age. Video games, skateboarding, football, basketball. Everything was like introduced to me at a very young age. So I really didn't know what to choose then. I really didn't know what I wanted to be. Like, what do I want to be? An artist or what? I just wanted to be, I just wanted to enjoy everything which was given to me and then try to experience what I can do with it. So that's how I started becoming like more of a creative, because everything which I was given, I wanted to see how I can change it, like even if I'm given a lady, I'll break it. Then I wanted to see what's inside, Yeah. So that thing, like, it was always coming back to me. Like, I just want to be someone who creates. I don't know, maybe, yeah. I just want to be someone who creates. I wouldn't say I wanted to be a painter or I wanted to be a drummer or a musician. I just wanted to be someone who creates, because as long as I'm creating, man, I'm living. Yeah. I feel like I'm more alive when I'm creating or doing something. Yeah, I'm not that type of person who can just sit down. Nah. So I'm growing up, I'm loving art, I'm loving music, and then I'm growing up. And people still continue asking me what I want to be when I grow up. And still I don't know. I'm just growing up, experimenting things. So now it reaches a point whereby I finish school and everything. So now what's next? I still don't know. What am I going to do? I just feel like I can paint. I just feel like I can make music, can produce. But the problem is where I come from, I've never really seen like someone in real life who is living out of art, like making real money out of art, like being able to travel, go away, do art, and then live their best life out of art. Now, like artists are like these other small type of group whereby they do their art and then they don't really go that far, So for me, I didn't want to be like one of them. Like, I didn't want to end up where I started in the first place, because where I grew up, they don't really promote art that much. So I heard a lot of people talking about Johannesburg, Cape Town. That's where tourists come. That's where a lot of white people are. Then, man, this always has been like in my mind, because also like my grandfather, he came here to work in the mines. So I remember when I was young visiting him by the village, he used to tell me like, hey, when you grow up, you must go to Johannesburg. You must travel when you grow up. Also, my mom, she used to tell me before she passed on, like, if you grow up, you have to travel. Don't stay here in Malawi. I don't know for whatever reason, but she always told me that, like, you have to travel. And then that was always part of me. Even when I was going to school, I always felt like after school, I just want to travel and experience Africa. So after I finished school, I was like, nah, okay, now I'm done with school. I don't want to go for a 9-to-5 job. I want to live my life doing what I love. Okay, so what's the plan now? Okay, what can I do? I'm able to paint, I'm able to do music. Okay, let me first try to perfect these skills. And then if I perfect these skills, let me choose a destination where I can go. Yeah, so then I started like being more serious with my talents, like trying to monetize those talents. And then I moved from home, I started staying alone. Yeah, a lot of people didn't understand my decisions. They thought maybe I'm going crazy. Yeah, why would you leave home and then you start living alone? And then they didn't understand but for me, I thought maybe I was seeing things ahead. So I started perfecting those talents. For a while, I had a studio on my own. Then I was trying to sell some artworks back there home in Malawi. Yeah, obviously it wasn't working as I wanted. So then I decided for the first time I had to travel out of my country. So the first destination which I picked, I wanted to go somewhere which was not too far. Far but not too far, where I can be able still to come back home. So I chose to go to Mozambique, because Mozambique is a neighboring country with Malawi. The only problem is in Mozambique they don't speak English, they only speak Portuguese. Then I was like, anyway, cool, I'm gonna go. I didn't know anyone there, I didn't have any family, just packed my bag and then I went to Mozambique. Yeah, there I stayed for like almost 4 to 5 years, yeah. After I perfected the language, I was able to speak Portuguese. Yeah, it was nice. So from there, because I was in a place whereby I had to earn a living, I had to pay rent, I had to buy everything. So now I was forced to do the things which I love, but now I had to do them in a level whereby I had to sell to make money out of it. Yeah. So out of those years, I learned how to hustle. I learned how to survive through art. When I had stayed there for, I think that was 5 years, yeah. Then I went back home to Malawi. I stayed for that was during the COVID period. And then, yeah, that was during the COVID period. I stayed for some years. And then after I came back to Malawi, now I started like thinking of how now I can come to South Africa, because coming to Johannesburg was always something which I had been dreaming of, I had been thinking of, as I said, ne? Yeah, so now I just had to find a plan, because I knew I cannot come all the way from Malawi to SA without proper documents, because it's really dangerous. You don't travel without proper documents. There's a lot of people who do it, and then it's really, really risky, because the roads which you have to use to get here, they're always dangerous. You can travel for the whole month. You have to walk on foot, crossing the borders, passing from mountains. So I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. So I had to like start again doing art back home. So I opened my studio back at my place, started doing sculptures and paintings, started selling, and then I ventured into starting selling clothes. After that, I was able at least to get some money, and then I was able to purchase, not to purchase exactly, but to obtain my passport. Yeah, like travel documents. Yeah. And then now the last part was, now how do I tell my relatives that I want to travel again, because they always had a problem with me traveling, because they'd be like, it's dangerous, man. Where are you gonna stay? Who are you gonna stay with? You don't have any family there, you don't have friends there. So I'll be like, nah, I'm still gonna take my chance. I'll go there, and then there I'm gonna find my people. Yeah, I didn't really know where I'm gonna stay, who I'm gonna stay with. Yeah, it was just like, diving into a deep ocean where you're not really sure what you're gonna find. Yeah, so on my part, it was somehow fun, and then it was also somehow I felt a bit of fear, like I was a bit afraid. Like, I used to also think of those things, like, but hey, what are you doing? Where are you gonna sleep? Where are you gonna stay? Yeah, but then I just had to gather this courage, because I knew if I did not travel and come to Johannesburg, I would never live in peace with myself. I would never forgive myself. I would grow old in the same place where I grew up without having the experience of what's happening out here. You check. So I would be like, I'm closed in a box. With all my talents, I would never go anywhere. So that's where I decided, like, no, I really have to go. Yeah. So then, I just made that decision with my passport, packed my bags, went to the bus station, booked a ticket, straight up, came to Johannesburg. I remember my first travel coming to Johannesburg, because it was my first time coming all the way here. So it was a 2 days drive. Yeah, it was really tiresome, man. Like, I was tired. Like, when are we gonna get there? Yeah, I remember now starting seeing the skyline. I'm like, no, now that's Johannesburg. Then we arrived. That was around 11 in the evening. And then we were dropped at the bus station. I didn't have anywhere to go. I didn't know anyone. And I remember it was cold, and I have never felt so cold in my life. Yeah, I slept there at the bus station for the first day. And the next day it was morning. Yeah, so now, I'm in Johannesburg, man. It was a big city, bro. Like, I've never seen a city so big in my life. Like, it's like maybe 20 times my city. Yeah, I would say so. It's too big. Like, my mind couldn't believe what I'm seeing. Like, so where do I start from now? Yeah, so the first thing, obvious, was to find a place where I can stay for a few days so that I can get my mind straight. Yeah, so, I started, like, I had my PC and my phone. I get a place where I can get some Wi-Fi, and then look for a place where I can rent, because I had some money. Yeah, obvious. So, first thing, I get a place where I can stay for a few days. And then after that, I started looking for friends on Facebook, friends who I went to school with, some of them who are around Johannesburg, trying to see who can be of help. Yeah, trying to link up with old people, like, who I can meet up with. But sadly, there was no one. So, I just go back to my ground zero basics, like my plan, painting. So I started making my paintings. I had my small laptop and my small speakers. Yeah, I make my music, my beats in my room, and then I upload them on Facebook. Sometimes, like, I send to other people else to know, so that if they like them, they can buy, and then they send me some money so that I continue surviving, Yeah. So that's how my artistic journey started. Yeah, I started like that. I just had to find a place where I could, first of all, sleep, because it had been 2 days in a bus, man. Like, I couldn't even move straight. My legs were painful. So, after I had slept and then woke up, now my mind was a bit settled now. That's when I started again, like, making my paintings here. and then trying to find a place also where I can sell my art. Yeah, I grew up being introduced to art at a very young age. So from a very young age, the first thing which I wanted to do, I didn't want to become something, but I wanted to do something. The first thing which I wanted to do, I wanted to make my own cartoons. Because every day I was watching cartoons in the morning. And then they always fascinated me. So like, the first thing I wanted to do was, I want to make this. I want to make my own cartoons. Because I always thought these are drawn by people. And they are people, it's people acting. So like, I was like, nah, man, I want to do something like that. So from cartoons, watching Cartoon Network, Boomerang, Disney, right from there, I got my first inspiration to do art. So I would say cartoons were the first things which I started drawing. Because I would draw Tom and Jerry, I would draw Popeye, I would draw 888, all those cartoons, because those were, I would say cartoons were my first inspiration. And then in music, church was my first inspiration, because at church, that's where I learned music. Like, I got introduced to music. Like, yeah, you know, at church music is spiritual. Like, it gets you to another level. Yeah, so before I even started liking all the other secular musics, church music was the first thing that motivated me. Yeah, so I would say in art, yeah, I was first motivated by cartoons. Yeah, I would say Cartoon Network, yeah, Disney, Boomerang, yeah, those were my first inspirations. And then, as I was growing up, yeah, I used to, there were rastas who used to sell art back in my city in Branta. Yeah, so I used to go there just to chill and watch what they are doing. Yeah, they were painting. So for them, they were more into traditional African art. Yeah, like drawing women coming from the borehole, drawing fishermen, sunsets, drawing elephants going. Yeah, those simple type of art. So like, that was also something which inspired me when I was growing up. Like, so people can draw like this. Okay, so I have to move from drawing cartoons and then draw this. It was another awakening. So I started doing those for a while. Yeah, I used to sell back then. But then when I moved from Malawi and then came here in Johannesburg, my mind got opened also in a very different way, because now here I saw graffiti and street art. Yo, I was like, nah, how did they do this? How was someone doing this? So from that also, I got my inspiration, like, nah, man, I am also this, because through street art, people portray messages. It's not only portraits which they are portraying, but they also portray messages. So through that street art, I also was like, yeah, this is also something which I gotta do. So my art actually is like a combination of cartoons, traditional African art, and street art graffiti. I fuse them all together, I put them all together, and then I try to come up with something. Okay. First is this piece. So this piece, I did it when I did not have paint. I just had a pencil, newspapers, and super glue. So I saw a guy online doing art with just using fabrics and newspapers. And then I was like, nah, I don't have paint, but I can do something. So I started cutting newspapers and then putting them together and then using super glue and putting it together. This was actually the piece which made me to come and start working here in Johannesburg. When they saw this, yeah, they were like, yeah, you're an artist. For them, I qualified, you see, just showing them that piece. But at that time, at that moment, I didn't have any paint. I was just stuck in my room. I didn't have any studio space, you know. I was like, but still, let me do something which I can show out. Because after I did this piece, I started moving around. I went to Eri's house, trying to get a space. Yeah, I went to AEE, Living Artist Emporium. Yeah, trying to get a space. And all these guys, they rejected me because they thought like, come on. But when I came here, they were like, you did this. And then they showed me other guys like, you see, this is a collage. And then, actually, you're an artist. Can you paint? I was like, yeah, I can paint. Given the paints. They're like, we got space. Yeah, so this piece, I would give it in my personal, like, currently, it has a lot of meaning. In my style of art, I was introduced to a lot of things. So I am not limited. Like, I use everything which is in front of me to make art. If you give me spray paint, I'm going to use spray paint to make art. If you give me brushes and paint, I'm going to use brushes and paint to make art. If you give me paper or a pencil, I'm gonna use that. Any medium you should give me, I'm gonna use that to make art. So that's me. I just translate myself how I'm feeling at that moment, because I put my soul in my art, because most of them they carry a message behind, Yeah. Oh, okay. So this is my recent, I would say, technique which I'm trying to develop. I know there are people who have done it before, because there's never really something new under the sun. But I have not learned it from someone teaching me. I am teaching myself. So I call it the matrix. It's like someone is trapped behind the matrix, but you can see the person. So when you look at that piece, you see a chessboard, but you see a person behind. And then behind, there's a story behind, because that person is looking at the city. There's a city skyline in one eye, and then on the other side, there's an explosion, which means the city is exploding. So you can see this person is trapped in the matrix, and it's a young boy. He's seeing the future. You check. He's trapped in the matrix, but he is able still to see the future. So if you don't pay attention, you might not even see him. That's the whole idea. Because for you to see that piece, you have to stop and see. That's when you see the details. The chessboard is a game, né? And then growing up, I had friends who were very fascinated with this game. Like, they would play it a lot. I was never really a fanatic, but I know them, they used to play it a lot. So for me, it's like, it's a game, man. It's not real, but for them, they'll take it like it's real. They'll play it the whole day. Yeah, they won't go to chase any dream. They'll play that game the whole day. So it's like, you're trapped, man. You're trapped. You have to get out of that game. So this is like me in a younger state, being trapped in that game with my friends. But then I'm seeing the future, that the seed is going to grow up if we don't do anything. So that's the whole story. So the chessboard is like, it disturbs your eyes. If you don't focus, you're going to see the chessboard and then move on. But then if you look, you're going to say, nah, it's a chessboard, but there's someone inside. And then when you see that someone inside, you're going to see what that someone inside is reflecting. That's when you understand the story. So the chessboard is like a distraction. You see, it's a distraction. It's distracting you to pass on, not to look. Because if I put it in a plain art, you're going to see it's plain. But now with the chessboard, you're going to be like, what was this guy trying to do? And then you're going to see, and then you're going to see again. Yeah. So that's that piece. So this is, listen to the type of technique which I'm trying to like develop, you check. Yeah, because I'm always trying to evolve in this art. This is a series in the type of cubism. Cubism is a style of art which got most popularized by Picasso. A lot of people know cubism through Picasso. They say Picasso is the one who studied it, but now cubism is like, it's a way of doing art which was introduced in Africa, because people in Egypt used to use cubes to show shapes. So Europeans or people from Rome, they stole that information from Egypt, and then they took it to Rome, and then it was studied, and then artists started developing, and then it became like it's an European way of doing art, but now it's from Africa. Because even if you check the masks from Africa, they have cubes. They just use shapes, and through the shapes, they formed figures of faces. Yeah, so this is a series. We're trying to like bring back the old and the new and fuse them together so that we can portray art in the future. So this is what is actually happening, because this was the first piece. So you can see the first piece is not too much complex, but as the pieces go, they become more complex. This was the second, and this was the third. So in every piece, there is a story behind. All the pieces have stories behind. But the technique which is being used is cubes and shapes. We are only using cubes and shapes to form figures. Yeah, this is actually a series which I'm working with my friend Kevin. Yeah, we are doing a collaboration work together. So it's a series which we are planning to exhibit somewhere around November. Like, I used to see these bags a lot from back home. Even growing up, I would see people cutting them with tobacco, teas or leaves. Yeah, because Malawi exposed too much tobacco and tea. Yeah, so these bags are too much there. It's a common thing, like common way of keeping things, So when I came here in SA, I was like, I didn't have kind of a source at that time. So I found this. piece of bags, and I was like, what if I try to make art on it? When I was thinking of that idea, I actually bumped into someone who was already doing it. And then that was Kevin. And then I was like, bro, I've been thinking of this, and then you're actually doing it. And then that's how me and Kevin collaborated. And funny enough, we're all from the same country, all from the same neighborhood. But we never knew each other back there. We met here. So yeah. Then we collaborated, and then we started making them. So they have that authenticity, because even like the material which we are using, it has a background, it has a history. You know, Africans, you never know this material was carried by someone. So, you know, it carries an African DNA. I would say, if you want to do art, there's one thing which you cannot avoid, and that's investing. Because art is a business. So in every business, you have to invest so that you can reap out the fruits of that business. So in art, there's no way you can not invest. Because even if it's trash, you would have to go to, I would say, wherever they are processing trash, and then you buy what you need. Even at the lowest price, but you still have to buy something. So the other thing for me, because there have been times when I've not been selling art. You know, I'm an artist still, but I'm not selling art. So I have to have a plan B or something else which I can do to get money so that I can support my art. Yeah. So I used to work in the salon. I know how to treat people hair. I know how to cut people hair. I know how to do dreadlocks styles. Yeah. So like I was like, nah, I can work in the salon, and then the money I get from the salon, I buy art materials. So still more, there's that thing which you cannot skip, because art is a business. You can do art for fun. You can do art just for yourself to keep them. But if you want to make art a living, you have to know that you have to invest. Yeah. So there's always that cost which you have to pay. You never have to count it, because it's going to pay back at the end of the day. Yeah. So still, if you want to be an artist, you still have to organize yourself. Even the read which you have, you can even just have newspapers and super glue and a board. I don't know, that would cost maybe somewhere around less than 100 rand. But if you use those things in a clever way to create art, out of that art piece you can sell for 5 grand, 6 grand. So you check out of 100 rand, you make something like 5,000. So you just have to use your head and your creativity to bring out something new to the world. Yeah. It's not always whereby you have to wait to buy expensive paint, expensive oil paint, expensive canvas, expensive brushes. No. You don't need all those. You can use whatever you have, but never be afraid to invest. You check. Yeah, because the investment is what's going to be there. Yeah. Back home, even before I traveled to come to South Africa, I knew about xenophobia. We watched videos of people being burnt. They're saying in South Africa they don't want people from outside to come. They want all the people who came to go back to their countries. Yeah, we used to watch those videos. And it was terrifying even on my part, because, yeah, I was scared. Like, even before I was about to come here, my family, they would tell me, hey, if you go there, they're going to burn you, they'll kill you, they'll show me those videos. Yeah, I was scared. But I don't say it's a good thing. Yeah, it really isn't a good thing, because I believe like Africa is one, just like Europe. When you're in Europe, you're in Europe. You can go to any country as long as it's in Europe. So why can't Africa be like that? Like, I believe we are all one. We shouldn't be. Because if black people are chasing each other here in Africa, where else would we go? You know, it's always been like that. Like, even my granddad came here to work, and then after he worked, he went back to Malawi and then settled down and had his life. People come to seek a life and then go. And then at the end of the day, these things still happen. I would say I'm grateful and I'm a little bit lucky, because I spend most of my days in the studio. I don't really spend most of my days outside moving around Johannesburg in town. Unless on really, really special occasions whereby I have to get something and then get back to the studio. But most of my time I spend it in the studio. I spend a lot of hours in the studio. I'm in the studio and then I go home to sleep. Next morning I'm in the studio. Like that, I'm here in Johannesburg, but I see things happening on my phone. I see things happening online. I see people are being chased. I'm lucky this side where I am is an artistic place whereby these things are not happening so much. But yeah, 2 weeks ago it was happening. People were being chased all around town. People were being catched. They are being sent back home. Others to Malawi, others to Zimbabwe, wherever we came from. Yeah, it's a reality which is happening. And sadly, I don't have any power to change anything about that. I just thank God that I'm a little bit, I feel like I'm blessed because in my line of work, I really don't have to deal a lot with that because I'm not always in the street. So most xenophobia people are fighting for the streets, they're fighting for space, they're fighting for businesses. So I'm not in that line of job whereby I get so much interferences because there's not too much artist after all. Yeah, and art is not something which everyone else can do. Yeah, so at least we artists, we get some kind of protected respect somehow, ne? Yeah, different from other people who are hustling on the street. For example, if I was selling bananas on the street, I'll be 100% vulnerable to everything which is happening. Because every day I have to be on the street still. That's where I'm going to get my bread. Yeah. So me as an artist, I'm a little bit saved because I'm always in the studio. And that's what has been killing my time, actually. If I wasn't doing art by now, I've seen a lot of people, I've had a lot of friends who I was chilling with. They've been caught by home affairs. They've been sent back home. Yeah. Unless you have an asylum or a work permit, that's when you can stay free. Yeah. So I really thank God I'm a little bit blessed. Yeah. Most guys who are South Africans, they come to take photos. And most of the people who come here are tourists. They're just visiting to see the graffiti on the streets. They want to visit a studio, maybe get something and go. That's my bonning. But now if you go in the CBD, now that's where there's all the havoc. Yeah, so I'm lucky that I'm based this side of Maboning. Because even 2 weeks ago when people were being chased in the CBD, people were coming to this side to Maboning just to chill. Because this side, it's a green area. It's not the red zone, like where a lot of xenophobia is happening. Yeah, and then there's this thing of load shedding. Load shedding is always an issue. Yeah, sometimes I have to do a commission for a client. Maybe I have a deadline, I have to finish. Load shedding is, and I have to stop. I don't have an option. That's 2 hours of non-productivity. Yeah, it's a reality also which we have to do. So, still, I feel blessed and lucky because I do not use electricity to make art. The only thing which I need from electricity is the light. So as long as I can put out a torch, I'm still able to work. Unless if I'm tired. So, yeah, load shedding is a pain, more especially if I'm listening to music while I'm painting. But if I'm not doing something which requires electricity, and then electricity hits, there's always something which I can do without electricity. Because even back home where I come from in Malawi, there's load shedding. Only that year we only experienced load shedding for 2 hours. Where I come from is 6 hours every day. So once the electricity goes, it's 6 hours of non-productivity. So you get a lot of guys just smoking, drinking, doing nothing because there's no electricity. So that's what taught me I shouldn't depend on the electricity because if I'm always depending on the electricity, there'll be days when I have to do something and then I'll not be able to do it because I knew load shedding from where I come from. 6 hours of load shedding every day. So when it hits, I had to still find a way of doing what I can be able to do until the electricity comes back and then I'm able to use the electricity. Yeah, so when I came this side, sometimes I'll work, knowing that when the electricity hits load shedding for 2 hours, I'll rest for that 2 hours. When it's back, I'll come back to working. Yeah, so that's how I work with load shedding. I just find on my way, I just find a way of working with it because I don't have the solutions yet for now. I can't say I will install solar or I'll have a windmill. Those are just ideas which we can come about on the table. But to be practical, what are you going to do now? Yeah, so me, on my part, I just find what I can do without using electricity for the time when there's load shedding. Until when the electricity is back, and then I can do the things which need the electricity. Yeah, because usually painting, I just need the light and maybe a reference somewhere and some music for the vibe. Yeah, exactly. Lockdown, COVID in Malawi was not as hard as it was here in SA because I was just watching it on the social media here, how it was here you wouldn't move in the streets, you wouldn't go to the shops, you wouldn't work. In Malawi, it was just like they said everybody had to use a mask, a face mask, which was weird for us because that was strange. Why do we have to put on a mask? I had never seen someone really suffering from COVID in real life who would just hear on the radio that there's COVID. Shops were not closed. We would still hustle. We would still sell our stuff. Yeah, that time I was hustling in town. We would still go in town and hustle. The only thing which they said was like, all shops must be closed by 6. So yeah, so by 6, all shops and bars were supposed to be closed. And we had to move with a face mask. I remember I was even once arrested for not putting on a face mask because I was negligent. That time it was something strange for us, like, why do I have to put on a mask? And then these police guys, they came and then they caught me and then they put me inside for like a day until I had to pay. Yeah, after paying, now I learned like, oh, so now every time I must put on a mask, otherwise I'll have to pay. Yeah, that was the only thing which we experienced. Like, we had to put on masks, which was weird for us. But otherwise, yeah, the economy went down because we couldn't get a lot of supplies from SA. That side, we depend a lot of things for coming from here, SA, more especially Johannesburg and Cape Town. Like, for example, if I'm back home in Malawi, I need some paints, canvases. Yeah, most of the times I have to order from this side. And then I'll wait for a week or 2, and then I can get them that side. Yeah, so during COVID, all those supplies were cut out because the borders were closed. So at that time, we had to find ways of surviving. Yeah, there was not a lot of products coming in. So yeah, it was tough, I would say, but not the way it was here. The only thing which we suffered most of was the economic side because the economy went down. Yeah, but otherwise we were not locked inside. Yeah, we were free, we would move around, yeah, do what we wanted to do, but still, yeah, there was no money coming in because a lot of things were closed from the other countries. So us, we faced that impact from the other countries because we couldn't get supplies. Yeah, AI is really a thing these days. Like, yeah, we cannot run away from AI. The only thing which a lot of people are making a mistake with AI is thinking that AI is greater than human beings. That's the only thing which people are making a mistake with. Us as human beings, AI is just like a computer. It's programmed. It gives you back what it has already been fed. It cannot create. You as a human being, you are the one who can create. So, for example, if I tell AI to develop a picture with cubes and the shape of a man with Johannesburg on top of it, it's going to give me what I'm telling it. You check. It's some information which it has already been fed, so it's going to fuse it together and then give it to me. So it's up to me to take that information and use it like it's the real information. Or I can take that information and change it and build something different. Because AI is like, you got the real book and then you have an encyclopedia. So you can either read the real book and then get the real knowledge, or you read the encyclopedia, which is going to tell you about the book. You understand? So it's up to you. So for me, I'm that person who will read the real book and then go again to read the encyclopedia. And then on my own, I come up with the full knowledge. So I use AI. I cannot run away from AI. I can combine some pictures on AI. But then at the end of the day, I also come up with my own creativity. There's no way we can say AI is bad. AI is not bad. It's just a simple way of doing things. But it's not the final way of doing things. It's not like the maximum. No. Us as human beings, we are more smart. Our brains are more smart. Yeah. So you can use the AI, try to ask ideas from the AI just to grab some inspiration. Whatever it's going to give you, don't just take that and then give it to the public. Nah. You also have to criticize that thing because even AI can be wrong. We have even seen pictures online which have been generated by AI, and then you can see the hand is in the wrong proposition, the leg is coming out maybe from the stomach. You can see that this thing is a computer, man. It has glitches. So as a human being, you're greater than it. You have to come back to it and then still edit from what it has given you. Yeah, so for me, AI is not the final product. Nah. And me as a human being with my brain, yeah, I'm more than the AI itself. Yeah, so I have to go beyond it. You check. Yeah, so that's my view of AI. I don't hate AI. AI is dope, we can use it, but it's like Google. You check, Google is gonna give you information, but then don't just sit down and say, hey, I read this on Google and then this is how things must be. No. Google is going to give you according to the people who researched about that thing. So you on your own, you have to continue also try to find more information about that thing, and then you come up with something authentic. Yeah, that's my idea. The sound which I would like to give to the world, on my part, I would like to somehow come up with a new type of sound which we can all enjoy. I'm trying to fuse the African sounds and then more of the modern synthetic sounds, and then come up with something which is simple and digestible to the ears, something which does not make noise to your ears, but you're able to enjoy it at the same time. Yeah, so sometimes I find it hard to describe myself like musically, like what type of music do I do, because I can do all type of musics. Yeah, I just love the sounds, and then I like to organize the noise and then put it into something which you can enjoy. The clashes and then the bongs and the hi-hats and the kicks, the 808s, put them together and then make something which, when you listen to it, they're all not clashing. They're all in a space whereby they're coming together and then they're making sense. Yeah, so that's what I like with music. Like for me, it's like the same way I organize paints, black, red, blue, yellow, and then I make something to form a picture. It's the same way with music, like I pick this sound, this noise, and then I put them together to form something which is, something which we can all enjoy and call it music. There's a sound which comes with the split, and when you're shaking it, it goes. Yeah, I love that sound, because the moment you hear, you're painting. It's like you put a brush in a paint, and then when it's painting, now it goes. Yeah. So that sound of the spray can, I love that sound. Yeah, if there's a natural sound which comes from something natural, which I would love to put it out there, the sound of the spray can. Even if I'm sleeping and then I hear someone, it's like the sound of the skateboard. It does the same thing. Even when I was sleeping and then I hear a skateboard, I know like, that's an ollie. That's this pop shanty. Yeah. So the skateboard and this spray can, those are the two natural sounds which I like. They're coming from things which are not music instruments, but they're sounds which they speak something to my soul. Yeah, exactly.